All right, so I appreciate everybody that's showing up for this. My goal was to make this interactive, right? I wanted this to be something that you all could enjoy, and it's not me like, so when it comes to booking, this is what it is. So for me, I am a vintage game collector. I have a lot. Sega, Super Nintendo, Dreamcast, TurboGrafx 16, Wii, Sega Saturn. I can go down the list. I got them all. I like literally collect these things. NES, I got it. So I wanted to do something that would be fun for everybody and give you the knowledge that I have in a way that I feel is digestible. So I want you all to think as if we're playing a game, okay? And you are playing the game. You are the person leading this game, okay? So I decided to go with the Sega platform. That's what we're gonna do. So we have to have it. All right, so let's continue. So this, all right, navigating the music touring world. You are about to press start, okay? All right, so I want to make it very, very, very clear. This adventure on music booking and music networking is intended for informational purposes. It does not provide legal or for financial or contractual advice. When you get to that level, pay for a lawyer. It's worth it, okay? The application of any advice or guidance presented herein is at your own discretion. While this presentation offers a roadmap, it is not the sole solution for your individual circumstances. So everybody has their own thing. Please be aware that this is a condensed guide, and we strongly encourage artists to conduct further research and their time and make informed decisions. So anything I tell you, please take the time to research it on your own. I'm giving you boilerplate stuff because I only have an hour. I wish I could do this for 3 hours, okay? So with that being the case, let's continue. You are in a bustling city. The streets resonate with aspiring artist energy. Meet Urban Echoes. That's gonna be the name of your group for today. A rising rap crew led by you. As your team embarks on your journey in pursuing stardom, mastering bookings, networking, and overcoming challenges, balancing exposure and finances, forging local bonds, and leaving an impact, you strive for greatness, okay? Will you conquer the industry or succumb to the road trials? This interactive journey empowers players to shape their destiny in the music touring world, okay? Number one, strategic booking. So let's talk about this, right? Because it's a few things that I really want to touch on as we go through this. So I always feel like there's an order of operations to booking. A lot of people who get in the music industry want to jump off the porch and go book something in New York. Slow your roll, pump your brakes. You need to really work your home market first. A lot of people don't understand why, but I'm explaining why. And I'm speaking from a standpoint of you're getting it from the mud, from the ground up. You need numbers to convince other cities that you're worth their time. If you can say to another booking or another city or the venue in another city, I'm doing 150 a show in St. Louis, they might be a little bit more apt to pay attention to your booking requests, right? If you haven't even played a single backyard in your city, I'm almost 80% to 85% sure they're gonna look at that email and say, when you get a following, come back to us, right? Radius and one-offs, right? So I want you all to think about this. I love living in St. Louis for a reason, because we are basically 4.5 hours from, or 5 from Chicago, 4.5 from Nashville, right? 4 from Kansas City. We could get to, let's see, I'm thinking, you get to Atlanta in 8. I can go through the different cities that are in proximity. Indianapolis, 5. These are major markets that you can play on a weekend quickly, right? I can get there and get back in time for work, or I can get there and hit another city and make it work. Plus, we're not even talking about all the college towns in between, right? It just makes sense for you all as artists coming up to think about really working this region, right? Really work the region, because if you can work the region, you will have a lot of success. Building a regional fan base will take you to the next level if you do it the correct way, and we'll talk about that. Booking in advance. This is something that kills a lot of artists. You cannot hit up a venue 3 weeks before and say, I want to play your venue. You need to be booking 4, 5, 6 months out, but you need to know that you're going to be in that city when you send that email, and we'll talk about that. One of the things that booking agents hate is when you send them a request to play and it's like right around the corner. Do you know how many emails that these booking agents are getting from artists just like you who want to play at these same venues? The way you stand out is to show that you've been thinking about this show ahead of time and that you've routed it in your mind and that you're ready to actually commit to like booking it correctly. These are things that they look at. I promise you, I've been around a lot of booking agents and venues and all that. And if they see that you are hasteful in how you're doing it, it's a no-go. I also put in my notes that's important. College towns are a great place to play. So I'm gonna give you a route. So I want to go play in Chicago. On the way to Chicago, I can name 2 cities that I can hit on the way up there. Springfield or Champaign, Urbana-Champaign. I think I mixed it around, right? Those are great towns to play. But some things to think about when you're trying to play in cities like that, or when will the college kids be there? Playing a college town during the summer can be cool, but a lot of the energy is around the college students, right? So you want to think about these things as you route your tour, because the cool thing about college kids, if they really like your music, they become lifelong fans. So I really want to get there. And I also want to preface that or put in that when you're booking in college towns, people like, oh, well, you know, I'm trying to play at the university. I used to work at a university. If the students weren't telling us about you, there was a high probability we were not looking at you unless you were a major artist and you had a major company representing you, right? Building those relationships with those college students in those college towns will lead to you getting onto a campus if they like you, okay? So this is something to be thoughtful of. A few more things, because I have a lot. Find venues closest to foot traffic. Before I go to any city, I research a venue and see exactly where it's at. Is it on the other side of the train tracks in the industrial area where nobody's walking and you got to drive to it? Or is it in the heart of the city where people can walk by, hear the music and say, I want to go in and check that type of stuff out? You have to think that way about that, because when you're an up and coming band, you're trying to get fans, right? So I need to put myself in the closest proximity to people that I can. And sometimes you might have to wait to get the right venue, but it's worth it, all right? Big cities with transit systems are great. I played in Chicago one time. Snowstorm hit. Thought the show was over. People were hopping off the L coming to that show. I was like, what's going on? They're like, this is just a day in the life here. We can just get on the train and go see whatever we want. And that really taught me something about understanding big cities and trying to be in cities where people can get to your shows. Do a little research, okay? Something else that's important. A lot of artists want the Fridays and Saturday nights. You got to earn Fridays and Saturday nights. And I'm going to give you one word, the bar. If you go into a venue and you don't bring nobody and nobody buys drinks, they don't make money if they're taking a risk on you. You might want to see if you can get a Thursday or a Wednesday night. If you can make it work, really build up that following and then come back later and say, what that Friday looking like? May not be the thing you want to do, but these are things that are important to know, because at the end of the day, if a venue is allowing you to come in and taking a risk on it, okay? And little things, if you're in a band or a group, know everybody's schedule. That's important. So you can make sure that you're booking correctly. And when you're at home, you do a lot of local shows, get out there and get a few regional shows, and every now and then you might get a bigger one, you can take that, but work your home market first, okay? This is a conversation worthy of having, exposure versus money. Let's talk about it. So with this being the case, a lot of artists are like, pay me $2,000. You have not built a fan base yet. Unless you just blew up off of TikTok overnight, you got to really prove that you're worth that. A lot of groups not groups, but a lot of booking places or a lot of venues in particular, they're not giving you a guarantee. You're going to get a split. We'll talk about that later, right? What you really want to do is get exposure. I've been in a band for 20 years. The first 7 and 8 years of my band was us working to get that exposure so I could get those acts. It may come faster for you. I'm not saying everybody's trajectory is linear. It's very transient. But if you got an opportunity, they're like, we got a little festival going on. We'd love for you to play. Go get in front of those 200 or 300 people and get your name out there. This is why we carry merchandise. And we'll talk about that. So guarantees and splits. Guarantee is simple. Hey, you, I want you to come to the venue. I saw your EPK. I like your music. I'm going to give you a $500 guarantee. That means that when you get through performing, I'm giving you $500. Now, how you do your business and your taxes is on you, but that's what it is, right? Splits typically happen when venues are they don't give you a guarantee, but they want you there, but they got to make sure that they cover their costs and you do what you do. So typically, when I was doing it a lot, the industry standard is kind of the 70-30. We got 70 of it and the venue kept 30. But at the end of the day, when you're trying to get out on the road and you're trying to build a market, you may not get the most money on your first few shows. But there were shows that we played and we walked out with some pretty good money, right? This is why you have other pieces around it so you can supplement that when you go on the road, okay? Don't be greedy, okay? Again, I'm not telling folks not to advocate for themselves. I want you to advocate for yourself and your value as an artist. I work with artists every day. Every artist feels like they are the one, right? And you're supposed to feel that way. But you can overstep a boundary and burn a bridge real quick, right? I'm not telling you to play for chicken wings and vodka. What I am saying to you is be realistic in your ask and do some research on the common market standard for an artist. You know what I mean? Ask around, talk to your buddies, see what they're commanding, where they're at in their career. These things matter. Does everybody follow? All right. No draw, no bar ever like. I'm gonna tell you this, if you don't draw, and you don't really hustle those markets, and I can go into so many different presentations on pieces of this. If you ain't pushing that show and marketing it and really doing your thing, you're gonna have issues. Other things to really think about, connect with the publications, college radio stations, and the student groups. Even if you're in a college town, you can reach out to a college radio station and say, can we come in? So many college radio stations love when groups come through and perform in studio. Easy way for you to get in front of some college students and whatnot. Ultimately, you want both, but it takes time. Don't run in the game trying to think you're going to get a bunch of money right away. You may, and if you are, disregard my presentation. But the greater majority of us, we had to get to a point where it leveled out, right? First, we're playing for exposure, and then we get a lot of money. And then eventually we get that exposure, and then with that exposure, we can ask for more money, okay? So,
what are you gonna do?
I give you a question, all right? You schedule a show in Kansas City for October and are considering the best city to book en route. Which option makes the most sense? A, Springfield, Illinois, B, Iowa City, and I didn't put the I whatever behind it, or C, Columbia, Missouri. Anybody? Go ahead. Exactly. Columbia's on the way. So if I know that I'm gonna wanna play, or I get a show in Kansas City, I don't know, some random Saturday, and I know we have some time available, or I'm looking to play in Kansas City on a Saturday, I'm sending out a booking inquiry to Columbia for Friday. Hey, I got anything on a Friday night that we can do? Or we can play? I'm routing myself, right? I'm routing myself to line up. And that's what the big stars have people do. They route these tours, you know what I mean? It's a little different when you can fly everywhere. But when you're driving, you wanna go in a way that it makes sense. You don't want to be playing in Kansas City and then you trying to figure out how to get down, I don't know, El Paso, Texas, right? You want to have your shows lined up where it takes you, all right? Does that make sense? And I want you all to jump in at any point if you have a question, okay? All right, so with that, you have a plan now. You have a basic plan on what you need to do. We go into the next phase of the conversation, which is contact protocols. If you don't hear anything from me today, listen to me on this. Trust me, this is the game changer right here. Okay. You want to keep copies of your emails because that serves as kind of written contract of what you agreed to. Booking agents can book a lot of people and things get lost in the fray. I folder everything, you heard it, and I keep everything. That's important, all right? Learn the art of holds. So what is a hold? So let's say that I want to go to your venue. That's the name of it, your venue. I'm interested in playing in Chicago on August the 5th, right? I email them, and in the email, after I do all the formalities that you're supposed to do, I say, I would like a first hold for August the 5th. They'll come back to me if they're interested and say, you got the first hold. What does that mean? That simply means that I'm the band right now that's first on the list to have that night. They also give second and third holds to other groups. So what's your name again? Joel. Joe emails the same booking agent after me and says, I want to play at this venue in Chicago on August the 5th. I would like a first hold. They may respond to you, there's already someone who has it, but we can give you a second hold. I want you to guess what that means. If I drop, what happens? Joe gets the venue. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes I booked and they say, look, we got 2 people in front of you, but I really want the venue. I'm like, give me the third hold. The cool thing about a hold, if you're in line, is that you can drop that later if you find another venue. I can go back to the venue and say, hey, thank you for considering us. I have another situation. I would like to drop the hold. Booking agents don't get mad about that. They understand it. You know what I mean? It happens. We're holding it for that day, okay? So understanding holds are important. Offer incentives for hometown bands to promote shows. Do not go to a city that you've never been to and not have relationships with people, and we'll talk about that, right? When I go to certain cities, I have friends that play there that they help lift my shows. They may even be playing on the ticket with me. They know the terrain. I do not. So when you go to a booking agent, you want to have a band in mind. Hey, I'm getting ready to come to Nashville, Tennessee. All right. Joel's band is willing to support us and be the headliner. We're looking at this day. The booking agent probably knows Joel's band because Joel has been playing in Nashville for some time. That's a relationship that I just leveraged, okay? That's very important. Booking shows during significant events can be a double-edged sword. If you can book the shows that are, let me move my Zoom. If you can book the shows that are a part of an event, do so. But if the event is separate, be careful. If you know a city has major festivals going on that's going to attract people, it may be to your detriment to try to book around those events, okay? We can see that in St. Louis. Like right now, if I wanted to do a concert, I wouldn't do it on Monday. Who coming to town on Monday? Beyonce, right? So I'm trying to compete with that. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying to you all is be thoughtful and look at calendars. Look at a city's calendar and understand what's going on in that city. If you have a family member there, call them and ask questions. Hey, this weekend, when they do the Tomato Festival, what's the turnout? I know this sounds crazy, but these things really, really matter when you're going to a new market, okay? You want to make sure that you create a situation where you're not caught up in the fray of everything that's going on. Make sure you receive the run of show before you hit the road. You need to know every detail about your load-in times, what comps you get, and everything else before you get on the road. You do not want to show up to a venue or try to show up. You don't know the time you're supposed to load in. You don't know the comps. You don't know anything. You need to ask those questions. If they said we want you to play, you have every right to advocate for yourself and ask questions on what the venue is going to provide and all that. That's just common practice. Does that make sense? Also, a lot of times venues are attached to restaurants and bars and all that. They may give you food or discounts. Be careful though. Don't let a venue say, yeah, drive all these this way and we'll give you pizza for free. We ain't doing that, okay? But they may give you discounts on food. And when you're on the road after you get through playing and you're hungry, that saves you some money when you can just grab something to go and you can eat. Ask. You will get drink tickets in a lot of venues, but I'm gonna say something to folks. I see a lot of artists that take advantage of that and they mess up their show because they ain't in the right head drinking before a show. I gotta watch my mouth. Save some of that for after the show, or if you one of those people who can't control that, wait till you get home and do that. We on the road, this is business, baby. We ain't playing. We trying to get there, put on a good show, and do what we need to do. All right? Everybody understand that so far? Okay, so follow the venue protocols on their website. If they say, give us 3 to 4 weeks before you follow up with us, emailing them every day is gonna piss them off and you're not gonna get that show more than likely. Follow the protocols. I can't say this enough. Read, people, read. People don't read. The number one, I just spoke to a booking agent yesterday. And he said, the number one thing people don't do, they don't read, then they email us, they misspell the name of the venue and everything else. Listen, in this day and age, you got ChatGPT, you got Grammarly. Proofread your emails before you send them out. You can say what you want to say, but people will not read an email that they can't read. I'm just being clear with you. I've heard it out the horse's mouth. It's a very real thing, okay? Create compelling emails without overloading them. What does that mean? You want to get to the point. Hey, I'm Joe's band based out of St. Louis, Missouri. I do country, such and such and such. I've been playing for this many years and whatnot. I'm interested in the venue on this date. If you want to learn more about me, here's my EPK, and we're just going to talk about that real quick. Please check me out and let me know if that's, you see, I'm not saying it exactly how I would write it, but you get the point. Giving them your life story at the age of 5, I realized that music was they're not reading it. They got so many emails, they going through them quick. You need to have it in 5 or 6 sentences to the point, what you're trying to do, and let them determine if they want to book you. If they don't, cool. It's venues that I tried to book for years that would not give me a play. And some of them ended up emailing me, asking us to play. There's other times I had to email them again, and they ended up giving us a gig later because we kind of worked our way up. So that's important, okay? You need an EPK, an electronic press kit. Everybody that's watching this needs to do their research and have an electronic press kit. That is your selling ticket on what you do. You can be creative with the press kit. It doesn't have to be a PDF. You can embed it on your website and have a special link that you can send out with your electronic press kit. You have to have something for them to go through and see who you are, what you do, samples of your music videos. If you have any numbers from shows, that type of stuff, press cutting. So and I'm using you for the sake of argument, you're right in my line of sight. If Joe's band played in St. Louis and the Post-Dispatch said this is one of the best country bands I've ever heard, you need to put that in your electronic press kit. These are the things that sell what you do, okay? That's very important. Learn when to follow up and when to wait. That is hard for a lot of artists. I'm itching to play LA, all right? You go itch yourself out of it, emailing them over and over again. You have to just send it out there, and sometimes you just gotta let the universe work the way it may work. But if they do respond to you, work with them, but don't press the issue. They say, you got the gig, we're interested, you in the door. You know what I mean? Don't blow it up. All right.
What are you gonna do?
So I'm gonna put a scenario for you and see what you say. And these not difficult. You sent the booking inquiry to a venue and a booking manager expressed interest, but asked for a few days to review the schedule. However, it's been 3 days without a response. What's the best course of action? A, follow up with the forceful email inquiring about the status. B, wait a week after initial email to check for an update. Or C, choose not to take any action. Anybody, we can, right, just wait a week, be patient, okay? This is what I was taught by somebody who taught me about booking. Typically, most people are okay with the follow-up. People get busy. It's when you do it too soon or you do it too much, it can be a problem. I can almost say to y'all with almost 100% like batting record that anytime I followed up on an email for a gig that I was guaranteed, they were very cordial with me about it and say, you know what, I forgot, you were on my mind, I was gonna get back to you. I don't care if they were or not, we talking now, you heard me. Just be a little bit patient. If you have the opportunity, you can still make it work if you just kind of hold your horses, okay? Make sense, everybody? The last thing before I go, it is important. Make sure you're reading your emails before you send them out. Sometimes you send out mass emails to different booking places or whatever. Do not mix up names, do not have misspellings. Have your manager, have them read over it a couple of times. Make sure that it's clear. I sometimes book late at night. So what I'll do is I'll create a bunch of emails and I'll have them ready to send, but I will go to bed. I will not send out anything. And the next morning I'll go back and I'll read it and I'll be like, oops, I caught that. Oops, that was a mistake. Take your time, do it correctly, because you only get one time to make a good first impression. And we're doing this virtually. They're not getting the chance to be in a room and see y'all smiling faces. It's through email. All right? All right, with that being the case, you got the gig. Now you got your gig. Congratulations, y'all have the gig. We got to get ready to go on. Now we're going to talk about that, all right? Road ready. All right, when you're on the road, you need to do a few things to be successful. You got to load in and load out. Maximize your ability to get in and out of a car with your equipment. Practice the best ways to get everything in there. Sounds funny, but you know what? You don't want to be trying to scramble when you got to be on the road to figure out how to get stuff in there. In my band, we had a whole system to how we put drums in 3 different cars. None were the same because the drums were the biggest thing we had to carry. And in some cases, just a side note, if a venue says that we will backline the drum kit, That is an amazing thing. Drums take a lot of space. So if the drummer wants to tune it differently when they get there, that's fine. But I'm gonna say this, good drummers can play on most any kits. I've been around a lot of good drummers. You put them on any kit, they can make it work. If you got one of those drummers that they only can do their kit because it's a special maple snare, you can bring a snare in your equipment. But if you got to bring your kick drums and all that, you taking up space. And I'm not trying to knock that. I get we all have our things, but when you touring, you got to be flexible. Maximize your ability to be efficient when you're on the road, okay? Hotels and Airbnbs are nice. Look, we all like some luxury when we're in our situation, right? But when you're on the road, family, friends, and all that are gold. You want to save money. If you know you got cousins in the city or a really good friend, 75% of the time we've been on the road, they be like, you can stay with us. We just staying for the night if we are, because we going from city to city. Save and maximize your costs. Now, don't get me wrong, every now and then as you get further in your career, you might have somebody that wants you to come play a festival or something that might put you up. That's nice, but that ain't always the norm. So save money by understanding how to really network. And also when you network correctly with the people in the city, a lot of your friends on the music scene there will take you in as well. That's why it's important to build those authentic relationships. Music at the Intersection is coming up September 9th and 10th, had to plug that. I got a friend that's possibly coming in town for that. He's gonna stay on my couch. I'm gonna be all over with the festival, I don't care. But we have that relationship. When I go to Indianapolis, it's the same thing, right? So that's the thing, all right? Merchandise. When you are on the road, I'm sorry, I did not hit this button. When you are on the road, merchandise is your friend. It really is. You can never sell enough t-shirts, hats, socks, whatever you choose to sell that people like. First, know the type of things people want to buy and bring that with you. I have had shows where the money was at the door, wasn't the greatest, but we walked away with a lot of money in merchandise. Some venues will take a cut, but a lot of venues I've been to, when you're a baby band, as I call bands that are coming up, they will not take your merch money. That merch money can be money that you take and you reinvest in your road trips. Not go get super deep into that because I don't want to be the financial person, but you got to be able to flip that money. So, like I said, develop an efficient equipment setup in your car, perfect load ins and load outs, strategically manage merchandise for maximum sales. That's another thing. It's times I've been at the table, the merch table. If you can ideally take someone to work your merch table, do so. But sometimes you got to do it. It's been times people been at our table. I'm like, the shirt is $25. They say, all I got in my hand is 20. Had a shirt. You think I'm gonna argue over that $5? I just want you to have that shirt because you gonna wear that to everything you doing and somebody's gonna see my band. You know what I mean? Be able to package things on the fly. I got $30. I really want a shirt, but the CD is $15. I know people don't use CDs, but think about where I came from. Yeah, just bear with me. I only got $30. Take the CD, take the shirt. I'm not saying do that every time. You do want to get your return on investment, but at the same time, be creative enough to work with people on the fly, because what's more important is that they're sharing your music, they're wearing your merchandise. These things matter. It's small, but it adds up over time. All right. Optimize accommodations for budget-friendly stays. We spoke about that. If every now and then we would go on a road trip, I'm gonna give me a hotel. I just want something. Even though it's worked for me, sometimes it was like I'm getting away. I get it, but that wasn't the norm. Okay, so think about how you save your money. There are bands who have decked out vans and they sleep in the van. Your level of tolerance with your group or yourself is on you. But if you're trying to do this long term and you're doing it on a shoestring budget, these things matter. Okay. All right. So we talk about being on the road. Okay. Some of this is common sense stuff, but it's a worthy conversation. All right. You want to learn the sleep cycles of the people who are going with you. I am a morning person. I am up every morning at 5 a.m. It's just my nature. When we were on the road, guess who was driving at 5 a.m.? It was me. Or if we had a late show and we were leaving early in the morning, by then I'm typically waking up. My clock is coming on. So I know I got a good 8, when I was really doing it, 8 to 10 hours of driving in me, right? But there are some people, they can't stand the morning. And I'll be honest, I drove a lot on the trips. But it was band members that I knew could do it maybe at about 12. 1 o'clock, that's when they kick in. You need to know those things. You don't want a person who's sleepy driving your vehicle. It's dangerous. I am blessed to still be here, but I have seen many things on the road where people driving sleepy. Don't do it. If you need to sit in the car, go to sleep, and just come home late. You heard it. It's important. If utilizing your funds calculate the expense of emergency, they're sure to take place. I was in Iowa and our tire blew. We were in rural Iowa. So we had to figure out something. Luckily, we had money and we were able to find somebody, but that made us stay there another night because it was weird how we had to get the car in. But at least we had the money to do it. Do not go on the road without some reserve cash, or at least somebody you can call back home and say, hey, I'm in a situation, okay? Keep a backpack and carry everything you will need for the day. When you get to these cities, you should not just be pulling up to the venue right before. I like to get to cities hours before and just work the city. Go to where the people are. This is my show. How you doing? Check me out. I got battery packs on me. Anything I need for the day, I'm living with it, right? Or it's in the car, depending on where we're at. Because another thing, think about the safety of your equipment, right? I have everything that I need. Comfortable shoes go a long way. Some shoes ain't meant for that. You can wear them on stage. You can have a stage outfit, but you need to be comfortable, all right? Vehicles with good gas mileage that you can fix easily. All right, you can go ahead and take the Mercedes-Benz on the road if you want. And if you break down, you're gonna have a very interesting time trying to get it fixed. Or you can take that 94 Econoline van on there that if something go wrong, you can hop right under that thing. And I'm giving you stories. We were in Georgia, driving through the back area. We were going past Atlanta down where we were going to I think we were on our way to New Orleans for a show. I went over a train track with our van, the muffler. I looked under it, I pulled it off and I threw it in the back. And everybody in the band like, what the? I'm like, look, you don't need a muffler to drive. You ideally want it, but we can get through the rest of the trip. I made it work. You know what I mean? I understood how to tune up and all that. I'm not telling you all to become mechanics, but if you're gonna be on the road, these are things you really need to be thinking about when you're doing the stuff that you're doing. Watch what you eat. Listen. Again, went to New Orleans, grateful. Who doesn't like the food in New Orleans? But I gotta drive, I gotta meet people, and I gotta perform. If I'm eating stuff that's heavy, greasy, hot, I got stories for everything. I've done it before. You are gonna get on that stage and you're gonna feel every bit of it. Think about your diet and how you're eating when you're on the road. After you get through with a show, and you know you're gonna be there for the night, live it up. You hear me? But when you're going from show to show and you're on the road, buying a lot of food over time costs money. So you can bring food if you want to. You can be smart about that. But eating a lot of stuff like that will catch up with you. Okay. Keep a bag full of necessities. So keep in your vehicle everything you need. There are people with allergies. You should have EpiPens. Band-Aids are important. It's days that I had headaches. I needed headache medicine. Keep the things you need to be out on the road because you are out working all day. Hi, fan, making you a new fan. I'm here, I'm there, water bottle, boom. You know what I mean? We in Texas doing the show. It's hot. Just not to be funny, black guy don't get sunburned very often, but some of my band members are white. They were slathering on the sunscreen out the van. You know what I mean? These things matter when you're out there because you're trying to maximize your time in the city. You want to hit everything you can promoting it, okay? And know the regions and the areas you are in and pack accordingly. If you know you're going to play a show in Chicago in the winter, you don't want to go in shorts and a t-shirt if it's a snowstorm that might hit. Use some common sense when you're on the road. And think about the time it's going to take you to get there. Like I said, I got a story for everything. We were driving to Chicago. So we've gotten a chance to see navigation technology evolve over the last 20 years. I was using Google Maps. The other band member in the other car was using Apple. This is no play for Google Maps, but this is real. Google Maps was telling me there was a storm getting ready to come. This was about to be an 8-hour trip. His car was like 4 to 5. I said, something ain't right. We hit a snowstorm. We hit a snowstorm. Luckily, we gave ourselves so much time that we literally pulled up to the venue, literally like 30 minutes before our set. You know what I mean? But it's important to calculate for that. Having coats, having things you need. You don't want to be stuck out there without it. All right. Any questions? Make sense? Again, I said learn band members' sleep cycles, maintain energies by smart food choices, pack essentials for weather, and plan for vehicle repairs and stuff on the road. You can never go wrong on the vehicle that you own if you're going to use it for touring. Having roadside assistance, it goes a long way. Okay.
What are you gonna do?
All right, it's that time. So during your upcoming trip, you come across one of your favorite restaurants located outside your destination an hour. However, due to the rush hour traffic and the need to reach your load in an hour from your estimated arrival time. So basically you got an hour. If you go there and stop, you got only an hour to get there, okay? You face a dilemma, what's your choice? I'll have a pass and try it next time. Can't hurt to indulge some of my favorite food, even if it takes me a few extra minutes. What would seem like the obvious thing to do, right? You can get that next time. Get to the venue on time, because if you're late, you're gonna have a problem. And we'll talk about that in the next slide, okay? So you all got it. All right, you have arrived at the venue. You made it, you got through it. Good job, I'm proud of you. Now we're gonna go into a part that really kills a lot of bands, networking strategies, all right? You really wanna create genuine relationships. If you phony and inauthentic, folks will know it. You don't have to be cool with everybody. It's cool. If you meet people in the city and they not your thing, don't try to force a relationship. Just be like, these really, this ain't my thing. But when you meet with people, be authentic in who you are and what you do, and you will see you'll go much further, okay? Befriend natives while touring and keep in touch with them on what's going on in their city. All the people that I know in cities that I've been in touring, I still have relationships with them to this day. Happy birthdays. I saw your daughter graduated from kindergarten. Love the new music. And I mean these things. These are my friends. Because anytime I say, yeah, I think we want to do a show, they'd be like, oh, you already know what time it is. Or they might call me and say, a lot of my festivals are because people started booking festivals and they wanted us to come and play because they had that relationship, okay? They also tell me when and when not to come. What's going on? Great opportunities. You need to have friends in this industry. It is important to have people in different places that can give you the scouting report, okay? You need to have a street team and you need to give things out to people. Some merch that I get is just to give away. Stickers, do you think I care about $1 sticker? You can all have one if I got it on me. Don't be so, I gotta make money that you miss out on opportunities, okay? Get on the ground before shows in high traffic areas, handbills and goodies. We talked about that already. Share your show. You got to be excited about your show. People come up to me, yeah, man, I rap a little bit. I got this show someday this week, I'm like, you don't even seem like you want people to come to the show. We walking up to people like, hey, how you doing? Hey, I like them pants. Okay, I see you. We having rapport with each other. What you doing this weekend? Me and my girlfriends, we was thinking about going to see some music tonight. Perfect. Come check us out. Y'all do music for real? Yeah, we do music for real. And I mean, I even get creative. Sometimes the venues give you a guest list. I don't have nobody that I'm cool with in St. Louis with me on the road. If you come, you get in for free. I'll put you on the list. What's your name? For real? There you go. This type of stuff really matters when you're trying to build a buzz in cities. And the thing that I'm gonna throw in there is that you gotta hit these cities multiple times. Another true story. We played Kansas City maybe 7 times. 7 times. Then we were asked to play the middle of the Map Festival. We get to the venue and the venue is cleared out. But all through the day, we heard people saying, yeah, it's this group Illphonics. We like, no, it ain't like that. When we got on stage, it was a soul-packed venue and they knew all of our music. But you wanna know why? We played that city. How many times? 7. 7, it matters, okay? Connect with the local influencers and put them on the guest list. If it's somebody you follow on Instagram and you cool and you know they got pull, invite them to the show if they rock with you. It doesn't hurt. In this generation, influencers really impact the music industry. I'm not saying that I like a lot of it, but it's a true thing. If you know somebody who can do it or who's an influencer, invite them. If they really like who you are in your music, they'll show up. And that's a good look for you because you want them on Instagram doing like this and talking about you. That matters, okay? Invite local bands to play in your city and set up the show and pay them. Don't just go to other people's cities and play all the shows in their city. And then when they're ready to do something, you don't have no opportunities. Get you some connections with some local venues, and when people want to come through, be able to either get them a gig there or play the gig with them, and you know what, pay them. When bands come to St. Louis to play with us, when we have played with them, we will sometimes give them our cut because we want them to get home and have everything that they need in their pocket, right? Think about how these relationships matter, because if they're able to say, Joe the band, you're my guy for tonight. Joe the band, they always make sure that we getting paid and all that. They're gonna go back and tell other bands, hey, that band is great. We really rock with it. Relationships matter, okay? So be free and locals and fans for insider insights. Turn them into your local street team for support. Cultivate relationships with sound engineers and staff and gain recommendations. So that's another thing that we're gonna talk about in a minute, okay? Any questions so far? What am I doing on time? I'm good? Okay, cool. All right, so level 7, showtime excellence. All right, now you pretty much getting ready to get on stage. We at that point now, okay? All right, so one member of the team in the band should have basic knowledge of running sound. The more the better. Do not step on the sound man's toes though. All right, I see bands do this all the time. I am an audio engineer. I am good at it. I went to school and spent a lot of money to learn about it. I have met sound engineers that I'm like, you don't know anything from Adam on running sound. So I know how to adjust with my band to make it sound good. But I'm not gonna go in the booth like, yeah, you need to add more compression to my vocals because this is how it needs to sound. You can insult the sound man real quick and you're gonna have a bad night of sound because some are spiteful like that, okay? It's just a real thing. Always keep extra mics, XLRs, strings, and so on you. If they don't have an extra mic or something goes wrong, you want to be able to still perform at the level you have been rehearsing. Keep these things with you. You got to have a goodie bag. Have your cables, XL, anything that you need that's going to make things work. If something break, you just want to have it. It just makes life easier. Sound checks are important, so be on time and don't skip them. You got a sound check and you got a line check. Line check basically means you hop on the stage, they check to make sure everything is all right, and you go right into playing. Sound check gives you the time to really get on stage, hear the venue, get the monitors right, get yourself ready, get there and get that type of stuff done. It will make the difference in your sound, okay? Also, something else to know. Being on time leaves a good impression. Venue owners have relationships with their doorman typically, they bartenders, and the people running the sound. When they ask about a band, who you think they're going and asking about it? Be late and disrespectful and see if you ever get an invite back. Because those are the people who are going to tell, yeah, you know, Joe the band came in and Joe decided that he wanted to throw beer bottles and not do what he needed to do. Okay, well, Joe the band, we won't be seeing you anymore. It's very rare bands get asked to return when they don't have good etiquette. It's important. Learn how to regulate your volume and control on stage and be prepared to keep the show going under abnormal circumstances. I have played shows where the power literally went out. And I was on stage, listen, yo, check it. And I made it work, got the crowd involved. I'm letting the sound man figure out what's going on. We fixing it and boom, we back, baby, we good. Practice under abnormal conditions. If there's 3 or 4 songs in your repertoire that you can do acoustically, have them ready to go. Be ready to pivot at any time. You just don't know what's gonna happen, okay? If the microphone go out and people see you on stage and you just going crazy, you killing your show. They don't respect you more if you figure it out. You forget a lyric, just keep on going. These things matter. Be prepared at all times to keep the show. The show must go on. People pay to see you. Some folks may have driven miles to see you. You want to give people something they'll never forget. You may not like the sound man or think he or she is good or they, but always show respect. My granny used to say you attract more flies with honey than vinegar. That is a very real thing. Sound man can be trash. Doorman can be terrible. How you doing today? You all right? Hey, I can't even call. You hear me? What you talk about with your group or yourself on the side after was like, that sound man was garbage. That's your high business. But when you in their house, be respectful. Now, I'm not saying take disrespect. I've had sound men and I'm like, look, you got to pump your brakes real quick. But it's how, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. because I've never burnt the bridge where I couldn't return. And sometimes the venue owners and booking people come to me like they were out of line. There we go. All right. All right. Show respect to the sound man and doorman. They usually inform the owner. We kind of talked about this. So always arrive early for setup. Know your audience. Maintain professionalism regardless of the situation. You are responsible for your behavior. You don't let people see you sweat. You keep yourself calm and collected. If you need to go walk outside and say some unsavory words or do what you need to do, you never let them see you sweat, because this is your business. This is your thing. Ain't nobody gonna mess up my situation because they don't know how to act. All right. Navigate sound checks and respect the process. Do what the audio guy needs you to do. You will find that most of them are pretty good. And every now and then you have exceptional ones. There's certain cities and venues we go to, the soundmen are spectacular. And we just love on them. We be like, hey, man. And then we can say, we love you. Or it's been some great sound women that I've worked with. They are phenomenal. I treat them with respect. I show them love. I might throw them a shirt or something like, I appreciate you taking care of this. You know what I mean? Be respectful. Adapt to sound system challenges and deliver a flawless performance. You need to rehearse at different levels. You need to rehearse songs in a way where if you are on a festival stage or something, you can pivot. You need to have something in the chamber every single time. You cannot blame the venue if you ain't ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And with my band, we were big on that. Rehearse, practice, do what you need to do, that at any time, you ready to go. Drum machine go out on the stage, maybe you can beatbox that. You just gotta think that way, okay? Everybody follow me. Cool, we getting near the end. So far y'all doing
What are you
good.
gonna do?
There we go. Next question. Sound person asks to sound check your drum machine and requests you to lower the volume. You have a specific sound preference for your rig and the monitors. What do you do? A, respectfully follow the sound person's instructions, or B, let me make sure I'm reading this right. Initially follow the instructions, but adjust the volume to your preference during the show, so during the performance. Or C, adjust the volume as you prefer, prioritizing your desired sound in the monitors. What do you do? It's a tricky one, but I want y'all to think about this and I'm gonna make it make sense.
Say, hey, but this is gonna come back with the toy. Like, I did what you told me, but can we?
You got the right mindset. Do what they ask you to do first. Put it at that level. Then if they say, is everybody feeling good? Most sound men or sound women will ask you that. Then you say, hey, I'm not hearing it the way I need to hear it. Is there any way we can adjust it? This is the deal. What you're hearing in the monitor is not what the people are hearing in the audience. They are adjusting the sound to the crowd in the room. You want to hear it boom, 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 but that's just you. They need to get the sound in the room right first. Do what they ask, get it there, and then have that conversation. And I guarantee you, good sound man, 99% of them will be like, yeah, we can figure it out. Now, they might say, hey, you're going a little too hot. That's going to interfere with your show. Listen to them, but that's it. That's it. The retort comes after you do what they say, and then you put yourself in a position to have that conversation. These things matter. All right. You got it. You've built your network. Congratulations. You got people that's rocking with you. So you can go to, listen, random city, Tulsa, and people are, we're gonna do a bump stuff. Am I good on time?
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. This is perfect. All right. Objective, complete the tour with gratitude and follow-ups. I cannot stress these things enough. Maya Angelou said that people may not remember you, but they will remember how you made them feel. It's a lot of people who come through the door that, you know, booking agents talk to people all the time. There's a guy up in Kansas City I'm really cool with. He remembers me every time I email because I'm always pleasant, to the point that I had to cancel the show literally 2 days out. And I like, listen, I'm sorry. He was like, we have a great relationship. Take care of your family. We'll figure it out. I was blessed to be able to have that relationship, but I always was respectful. Treat people kindly. A lot of this opening doors is because you were a good person at the right time. Don't let the society tell you you can just be a jerk and mean, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of those people that are like that, they don't last long. The same people you step on and get up, you go see them when you come down. So really keep that type of energy, okay? Want to come back and be invited? Follow up. It doesn't take you no more than 5 minutes to send a quick email. Thank you for having us. We enjoyed ourselves. We love the venue. We would love to come back. You will be surprised how many will respond to you and say, that's great. We're happy. We'll figure out something in the spring or the fall. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, you all. The difference between staying here in St. Louis and going back on the road. It's that simple, all right? Learn from experiences and prepare for the next adventure, okay? And also with that, reputations travel fast. It's a period of time booking. I wasn't really having to reach out to people. Venues were reaching out to me because we had a solid reputation of not only having really stellar performances and good music, we're gentlemen and we hold each other accountable. Why did you say that to that person? We had an individual in our group that was really rude to the sound man, and we were smiling on stage, and then afterwards he pulled him to the side and said, if you ever do that again, you won't be here. Check your people around you, okay? Reputations travel fast. If anything don't travel, it's bad news. So remember that, okay? And learn from the experiences. You're gonna make mistakes. Listen, y'all, I've been through it all. I've been on the road and the car got stuck on the side of the road. I've been sick on trips and I'm like, literally, like, I don't know if I can get on stage. You know what I mean? We've had to get back in the middle of the night because of family emergencies. We've learned from these experiences how to pivot, okay? All right.
What are you gonna do?
Simple, right? Simple. After a successful show at a venue, what's a recommended way for a musician to express appreciation? Hey, send a personalized thank you note or email to the venue staff or the booking agent, okay? Post about the performance on social media without mentioning the venue, okay? Leave the venue quickly, rest after the show without acknowledging, anyone. I think it's easy for y'all to determine what this is, right? When you leave in the venue, thank you, sound woman. I appreciate you taking care of me today. All right, bartender, you got it. Leave a tip, be generous, leave a good impression when you walk out the door, and those folks will remember you. And sometimes they go to other venues and places and they end up booking and they remember you. Okay, that type of stuff matters. So send a personalized thank you note or email to the venue staff. So with that being the case, you are now on your way to being a music icon. You have went through the basic steps of doing what you need to do to get yourself out there on the road and whatnot. And again, I only had an hour. I can go into any one of these for 1 hour and break down everything. Like I have notebooks and files of stuff I've written over the years. I actually pulled some of this of what we've done to do what we need to do. But I just felt like it was important for you all to understand the process of this because a lot of young artists miss these things. I'm talented, so I'm going off the pop. But you got a bad attitude. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm really nice. Everybody like me, but you don't have a set that's ready to go. And that's another thing that I want to throw in real quick before I open the floor. You got to have sets that's ready to go. And I mean lengthwise. If you only got 2 songs, you better have a bunch of covers, or you better extend them songs for 15 or 20 minutes like the Grateful Dead or Pink Floyd or something like that. You need to be in a position where you are able to actually perform for an extended period of time. When you're at the level where you can do like 45 minutes or more, you're usually pretty good. But always have extra and always be ready to go. Also, another piece, think about the flow of your sets. I do not like going to shows and artists do a song. Hey, how you doing today? All right. And they just talking. How does your set flow? You can have those moments, but you need to come out, boom. You need to be playing, giving them a jam, 15, 20 minutes. Then you like, how y'all doing? Then you engage with the crowd. Set flow matters. All right. So for those who stuck around and got something for it, I'm going to open up the floor for questions. I hope this gives you some value on what's going on. It's like I said, it's not rocket science, but it's the simplest things that we really overlook. And hopefully I can answer some questions. So I appreciate y'all making the time. Right at 57 and 21.
All right, Kendall and Denise, those are our virtual attendees. If you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, but I want to.
Okay.
As somebody, we support small businesses. So is there any local St. Louis small businesses that you go to for your merch? For your merch. The Ink Spot is a good place to get stuff printed. By Jack does a lot of great t-shirts and all that other type of stuff. Some stuff you have to outsource, but if I had to think about any off top, it would be by Jack.
and it would be the ink spot when it comes to printing up flyers and all that type of stuff around digital marketing. But you all may know somebody who does a really good job. To your point, use them. All right. Back in the day when we were really using Sonic bids and stuff like that, you would do stuff there, but they would really charge you out the behind for it in the shipping. Find a local vendor because you can just go around the corner and get the box and then you can go on the road. Yep.
I have a question.
What's up, Kendall?
Hey, so how do you handle commerce as far as on the road? Do you take cash? Do you have a payment system that you subscribe to? Like, how does that process work?
Yes, we were one of the first people to start using Square. We were really big on it. So I don't want to really go into financial advice, but I'll say this. My group incorporated as an LLC 15 years ago. We are a business. We do taxes and everything else. We have a point of sales everywhere. You can swipe, you can tap. We do carry some loose cash on us, Kendall. That's a great question, just in case we have to do those types of transactions. But you definitely need to have a point of sale. That's important. And I actually should have put that in the presentation. So thank you, Kendall. I'm going to add that. You definitely need to have some way for people to make payments. We do live in a time where people don't tend to carry cash. So can I swipe? Can I tap? Can I do that? Have QR codes for cash apps and all that other type of stuff. Any way that I can get money from you, I need to figure out how to do it. You heard it. So yes, we use Square exclusively for the most part, but we have everything set up that if we need to make a transaction, we can. And really cool about being at the venues, if we have to bring a certain amount of cash and we need change, most bars have it. So we can do that exchange there. So thank you, Kendall. That's a really good point and a good question. Anybody else? There's no wrong, there's no bad question.
All you guys ponder it as you are creating your own business and your music. We can help you at the library looking up music venues on areas that you go to. So Larry had the question of, if I'm playing a show in Kansas City, where am I going to stop? You might say Columbia, Missouri. We can find a whole list of music venues with contact information for you.
Yep.
Like within 5 seconds.
There you go.
Reach out to us. We'll be able to help you get those lists of people.
Mhm.
That way you don't have to do the crazy grunt work of.
Yeah, because I remember going to get guides and asking people. I low key am jealous of now because y'all have it easier than we did doing it. But it's I love that for you all, that you don't have to go through all that. Use resources to get that information. And sometimes it's not updated. So every now and then you might send an email, they'd be like, hey, I no longer work here, but this is the person who does it, you know? And sometimes you can get lucky and make cold calls. I've cold called venues like, hey, so who books? Oh, well, it's this person, or it's me. That was one time I called, I was like, yeah, it's me, I booked. I'm like, perfect. You know, like that type of thing, so.
All right, Denise from Zoom has a question. Have you ever thought of composing all your knowledge into a book, like a how-to guide?
I am thinking about doing that. And there's things that I would have to be more in depth about. But the interesting thing about booking is the game and the music industry is changing so much. I think the core things of what I can write about is basically those relationships because they matter. But yes, Denise, I am thinking about that. This is a stepping stone towards that. Because, you know, you over time, you write these things down and then you look back at it over 20 years and you're like, I got like 5 pages worth of notes on stuff. So yes, absolutely.
And we can also help you with demographic information, and I can get you like a view of Columbia and be like, this is the demographic of all the people here. So some places might be very senior friendly.
Yeah, let me jump in on that. Knowing your demographics is a great thing. If you got streaming sites, look at your analytics and see the age groups. This is me going into my master's degree. Understanding your market and doing research on your market will make a difference. If you got certain statistically, people over 30 tend to not look for new music. It's little things like that that will help you determine who you're targeting. You know, I'm gonna give y'all a trick out of my book. The demographic that follows us, they tend to like things, to buy things that they can use multiple times. I'm not really, you know, in lifestyle things. We sold incense because people like those, and we sold out. We can't keep them because people like that type of stuff. You know, we've sold soap. You would think, you're like, soap, who would buy soap? People, you need soap. And if it smells good, that's the thing. You'd be surprised what you can glean from looking at your analytics. So look at that data. Data is king. All right, it helps. So.
My last question
Mhm.
is for you. When is your next show?
So right now, Illphonics, we're on hiatus. We are right now working to figure out what our 2024 is. We are still very much together though. I am working on a side project that'll probably come out at the end of the year. But the biggest thing right now is for me to do the work that I'm doing with the Kranzberg Arts Foundation, empowering artists in our scene to not only know how to do this type of stuff, but to stay in St. Louis and do it, and really just lifting up musicians across the spectrum. I just believe that to have knowledge and not share it is a great form of evil. So there's nothing that I'm not willing to share with the local artists, because I know what it feels like to be 22 years old trying to figure it out and nobody wants to help me. And I'm like, I just need some help. But you know how, but you don't want to show me. So I've made it my life's mission to make sure that anything I know, I give it to you. Now, the one thing I say is I give you the will, can't give you the want. I can tell you everything I know, but you got to get out here and make it happen. And that requires hard work. You may be getting off of work at 5 p.m. and you might be on the internet doing your research to 9 and 10 o'clock some nights, or out at other people's shows, shaking hands, dapping folks up. But that's the game that we're in, and it pays off when you do it. So I thought I saw Kendall take the mute off real quick. Did you have another question?
I was just gonna ask you, when was your next show as well?
No, my next show need to be me coming to see you. I owe you one. So
For sure, for sure.
did you have a question? All right. Well, if you do have any questions, I have my card that you can tap. I'm digital now. Feel free to email me or ask me any questions. I make time for new artists. I do. You know, I try to make sure that y'all know what y'all need to know, and I support as best as I can. I may not get to every show, but trust me, believe me, every day the work that I do benefits everybody on our music scene. It ain't just me, it's everybody. So I appreciate y'all taking the time to learn this information. Thank you.